Hey guys, this is your girl, Nurse Injector Airy, and I am back with another YouTube video. I am not so much of a content creator or YouTuber. I am definitely just a nurse and a mom, but I figure I have so much knowledge and so much stuff to talk about and give that I'm just a girl with a camera and I'm going to start telling y'all whatever it is that I know. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about what it's like working inside of the ICU and, you know, what to expect, whether you are a new grad trying to get in the ICU or if you have completed like your year or two on floors and you're trying to move up into the ICU. So if that's you, I want you to stick around for this video, hit the subscribe button, follow my channel because I'm going to be coming up with more videos like this, and I definitely want to make sure you guys are in tune. So let's get into it. What is it like working in the ICU? Well, I could tell you guys, if you go watch my old video, I started off in the ICU as a new grad, right? When I first started, they assigned me a preceptor. And when they did that, it kind of like made me feel really nervous because I saw this schedule and I saw two names on there and I'm like, oh God. Oh, who are these people going to be? Like, are they going to like me? Am I going to be nervous? Are they going to be hard? Is it going to be like school? Is it going to be like a clinical instructor? Those were the things that were going through my head. So I can only imagine if you're a new grad or if you're just starting out in ICU, how you might feel. And the other thing was like, I was just nervous all around. Like, I really was honestly scared. I was like, what is the ICU going to be like? Am I going to be able to do it? I don't think I'm smart enough. ICU sounds really smart. Them critical care nurses know exactly what they're doing. Fast forward to a year later, I can tell you that most people don't know what they're doing. They're winging it. No, they're not winging it. It's just that you learn things over time and that nobody knows everything. And sometimes certain things just come up. And there's no reason to be nervous, and there's no reason to feel ashamed that you don't know everything, because we are living in a world and a society where we have to constantly change what we're doing because we're evolving as people. So with that being said, there's always something that you can learn in the ICU. And if you work at a good hospital, they should be constantly educating you. So when I started out, I had my preceptor. I had a male and a woman. They both were like some of the two oldest nurses in the hospital. So I honestly, no lie, no cap, I was actually very happy to have the old heads. And the reason that I wanted the old heads to precept me was because I knew that they were going to do it right. They were going to do it the way that they did it back in the day. And sometimes that's the better way depending on the situation. Sometimes, you know, new stuff, you know, new school ain't as good as old school in me. I have an old soul. So I was actually very happy when I saw it was the two older nurses. And I was even more happy when one of the female had told me that they always want her to precept people and that she always denies everybody, but she felt inclined to like do one more person because I guess she's retiring soon. And that one more person was me. I've been precepted before as an LVN, which is honestly not that common, but I did have a preceptor as an LVN. And let me tell you, when you have a good preceptor, they mold you into the nurse that you are going to be. So I think that, you know, if you are trying to get an ICU, make sure you are talking to your educator and asking them to mesh you with someone who matches your personality, because let me tell you, it's not always going to work out. I was very thankful. I did day shift in ICU for about the first 3 months was the schedule that they put me on with the preceptors, and I basically just watched them. And my first few days, I was lost. I was like, what is going on? I have no idea what to do up in here. But thankfully, my preceptor kept saying, girl, you can do this. She was like, I'm about to show you. Look, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do this. See, I told you could do this. And that is key to being successful, is surrounding yourself around the right people, right? And that includes the people who are training you. Because there can be preceptors who make you feel horrible, who make you feel like you're dumb or you don't know nothing. They want to make you feel like, you know, they're questioning you, and they're giving you like trick questions to make you feel stupid. There are those, and I will get into it later, how I switched to night shift and they gave me a preceptor there, and that was the worst experience. But let me continue to go on with day shift, okay? So as day shift kept going on, I started learning things. She started teaching me. I started learning about like A-lines. I had no idea what an A-line was. So for those who don't know, A-lines, the nurse sets up this pressurized like normal saline bag that you got to pump up. You set it up for the doctor, prime the bag. You get all the cords out ready to hook up to the hemodynamic monitor. And then the doctor actually inserts the A-lines. And, you know, it's a very cool process. A-lines are something that I have not worked with over the last few years, even working as an LPN. That's something very like specific to the ICU. So I got to learn that during my preceptorship. That was one thing that they really wanted me to get a hold of, and understanding how to use the monitors, getting comfortable with hemodynamics. And so, you know, you got your arterial lines, you got your continuous thermometers that you could put on there, monitoring on the hemodynamic screen. You got your rhythms. Okay, I had to take a class when I first got into ICU on how to interpret EKGs. So, you know, that's something that I feel also like it just kind of comes with time. You starting to see the same deadly rhythms over and over. VTAC, VFib, a PEA, and then you're like, okay, I know what that is because I saw that. But there are some harder ones, like, you know, like MOBIDs and like the third degree heart blocks. I'm still trying to learn that. And let me tell you, I've been doing ICU now for like 12 to 15 months. It ain't been that long. And I'm telling you now, it is difficult to really get a swing of certain things. But as you keep doing it daily, it does get better. And, you know, as I've been doing ICU, it really has gave me a new perspective on how the hospital in general just works. And I did not know a lot of the nurses throughout the hospital don't do a lot of the same things, at least in my hospital, as the critical care nurses in both the ED, ICU, or like cath lab. I guess most of those nurses are like critical care nurses. Anywho, so my preceptor was able to show me all those. She also started teaching me about proper ways to titrate medications, which is something that's also very specific to the ICU. You know, learning how to titrate levofed. You don't want to kill them. You don't want to go up too high. You don't want to keep it down too low. You got to really be able to monitor their blood pressure so it's accurate, which is where the A-line comes in, because it measures the blood pressure by the second. And that way you can titrate your medications by the minute if that's what the order says, which most levo orders are like by the minute. You got, you know, your Neo, all your other vasopressors that you can get. You got to titrate some of these medications and go up and go down, go up and go down, because I'm telling you, you could turn around. 1 minute they could be 121 over 65, and you literally turn around and now their blood pressure is 68 over 50, and it's like, whoa, what happened? Well, they're septic, and your levo might have ran out. It could be a whole different things, and you definitely don't want that to happen. And maybe I may make a video about like stories of people's levo running out and how that really can be detrimental to the patient, how you really got to make sure that your lines don't run dry. These are all the things that I was learning when I first started ICU. And these things that I'm talking about is really what it's like working in ICU. You're going to go through being a new grad and go through learning these things and not knowing what's going on. And then you'll start to pick up on things. And people, when they see you do stuff over and over, then it's like, oh, okay, well, let me get her to do this. And I already was like efficient at certain things, like doing IVs. That's not a huge deal, I guess, in ICU. I mean, it does help. But a lot of the times we do get ultrasound guided IVs from our doctors or residents because the people are just that sick and they may not have anything. But I would say, if you are someone who is scared of doing IVs, utilize that time to practice. And I hate to say it like that because nobody wants to practice on someone, but jump in. If you have the opportunity to do an IV, do it. Don't just keep putting it off. You're never going to get better if you don't just do it. And so to continue on what it's like working inside of the ICU, I can say that, you know, you hear a lot of stories about how people can be very mean in the ICU. And I would say that for the most part, majority of the nurses that I've worked with, they're going to be, they were very nice. Like, they were very helpful. Everybody helps everybody. When their new patient is coming onto the floor, we all go inside that room to go and help set that patient up. When that nurse is set up, then we leave. If there's a nurse that has a patient and their patient is close to crashing, you go in and go help that nurse. Hey, you need any help? Hey, can I get you anything? I don't care if it's a pulse ox. You want to make sure that you're asking your coworkers, you know, can I assist you? Because when you're in that position, you want people to help you. And let me tell you how I have totally seen in my hospital nurses who don't help other nurses, and they don't get help when it's time for them to get help. And that is, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that guy. And at least I don't. And that's why I'm making these videos, so I can tell y'all what it's like working in ICU, right? I never wanted to be the person where who nobody wants to help. But you totally see that all the time up in there. And back to the whole mean girl thing. Let me just go back to that. If you're a new grad out there, or if you are someone who is just about to start ICU or just about to start the hospital and you're easily intimidated, do not let anyone, no one, talk to you crazy. Don't let no one intimidate you. Let no one disrespect you. Stand your ground. And I promise you that people will respect you more had you spoke up or you said what you need to say. There are nurses who will just throw shade and not respect you as much because they think that they know more than you. I had a nurse, and I'm just going to tell this story because, again, this video is about what it's like working in the ICU, and you need some stories, okay? There was a nurse who, she was kind of new to ICU, but she had been a nurse for a while, or RN for a while. You know, I was at LV, and it's not as respected, I guess. So, at least to her, or certain nurses act like that, which I find very weird, but a nurse is a nurse, whether you're an LVN, LPN, RN, you're a nurse, okay? I'm new to ICU, but I was on my own by this point. And when she was giving me report, I saw that the patient's arm had an infiltrated line, an infiltrated IV line. And I looked and I said, oh, that looks infiltrated. She said to me, nah, I checked that. He's good. He ain't infiltrated. I said, oh, okay, right? I left it alone because I'm about to come on anyway, and I already saw that looked infiltrated. So I was like, okay, I already saw that. I'm gonna look at it. I was like, whatever the case may be, I'll check it out when she leaves because I'm not into going back and forth people. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I walk away to go get a report from another nurse, and I hear that nurse tell our IV nurse, hey, can you come and look at this line? I want to make sure it's not infiltrated. Mind you, she didn't know I could still hear her. But it's all good, right? Go double check because I'm new, right? I'm a new ICU nurse, so she didn't really respect my opinion. Soon as that man walked in the doors, the IV nurse, he said, oh, that's infiltrated. I hear all this. She walks up to me and says, oh my God, you were right. That line was infiltrated. She says, it must be that new eye you got. Really? Or is it the fact that I've been an LVN for 10 years and I've been doing IVs for 10 years and I've been looking at infiltrated lines and knowing what to look for? I know what to check for when I'm doing IVs, obviously if I'm skilled at it. And so I knew that was infiltrated, and she tried to throw shade. And the whole point of me even telling this story is don't let nobody play with you. You get what I'm saying? Working in the ICU can be a struggle, but you have to be confident in your assessment. You have to be confident in what it is that you see versus what someone else sees. You can say, oh, I saw that person's pupils were a 2, non-reactive in the right eye, a 4, non-reactive in the left eye, and that person from the shift before said that they were 2, equal and reactive. Well, that's not what I saw. In the ICU, you have to be firm and you have to trust yourself. And if you don't trust your own assessment, go get another nurse and say, hey, I want you to take a look at this for me. Does this look like this to you? Does this look like that to you? Help me out. Also, working inside of the ICU, you should be able to depend on your charge nurse. And when I say should, I really mean should, because it really just depends on where you work. And like I said, there's been times, depending on what charge I work with some lazy charge nurses who don't want to do nothing. But I've also worked with some charge nurses who want to do everything, and it's awesome. And they're really, the people who I depend on and I learn from. But again, it just depends on where you work, and you're not going to get that from everyone, because people suck no matter where you go. And that's just the truth. But again, stand your ground. If you can't go to your charge nurse, or you have issues with your charge nurse, go ask one of your peers. Go see what's happening with that. And I really trust that, because I truly believe that that's it's essential, and moving forward, going back to, what it's like working inside the ICU. We do tend to go to rapid responses. We don't have our own rapid response team at the hospital that I work at. It's mostly the charge nurse that goes, and she might bring one nurse. So if you're available, she might be like, hey, come with me. Same thing for a cold blue. But when you're in the ICU, there is no rapids. We are the rapids. There are no people that you call, There are no people that you call to come down, to come and do the rapid. You are the people that do the rapids. And I think that is one of the biggest things that I see with the floor nurses coming down to the ICU. They are missing, that part of it. A lot of them are looking for someone else to come, and I've trained people now, and I'm like, no, you're the one who they're coming, who's going to come. You're the one who has to figure this out. You call your resources, you call your respiratory therapist, you call the MD, but we don't have a rapid response team, at least at my hospital. So you gotta be quick on your feet, check a pulse, bag them, do what you gotta do. If you feel like there's something going on, put them in Trendelenburg, start that bag, ask that doctor, hey, it's getting close to this. You want me to give a bolus? If not, you want me to start them on level fed? Whatever it is that you have to do, be confident in your assessments. Be confident in what you are doing in ICU. And I hope that this video can help a little bit of what it's like. And obviously I can't cover every little thing in this one little video. I might make a part 2. But I do hope that this gave y'all a little bit of insight. I did talk about a few different things. And just to end this video, I do want to say, one of the best things I feel about working in ICU is the autonomy. You do have a lot of freedom as far as what you're doing. Nursing is an independent practice at the end of the day. Don't let no one hover over you. Don't let no one feel like you're doing something wrong and you got to change what you're doing because you're not doing it the way that they're doing it. Every nurse can do the same thing in their own way. You got to find your own rhythm when you get inside the ICU and do what works for you. I would not dwell and work, wait around too much on watching to see what other people do or copying other assessments and say, well, they saw this or they said that. Don't be that nurse. Do your own things. That's how you get better. And the more assessments that you do, the better that you get. And again, I'm going to make another video about what it's like working in the ICU, because I think this is a very short video. But it is cool to work there. And now, it's cool to just say, oh, I'm an ICU nurse and I can do this and I can do that. And, it is a rewarding job. And, it is exhausting having to do CPR several times a week, having to, encounter families and have those hard conversations and to, work with people who are on vents and put people inside of restraints, give Haldol, all types of stuff that we do that could be a little bit taxing on the brain sometimes. So make sure you also take some time for yourself if you are working in ICU or if you're interested in working in ICU. And if you are a new grad, please subscribe to this channel. If you are just a registered nurse looking to learn more information about ICU or aesthetics, because I am heavily into aesthetics and I'm going to start touching base on those videos. But I want you guys to kind of get to know me and, see what it's like being in my shoes, both as an ICU nurse and aesthetic nurse. And, just trying to bridge the gap here, because why do I have to pick one? I love and enjoy doing both, genuinely. I enjoy working in the hospital and I enjoy doing aesthetics. I don't have to pick, and neither do you. So if you are someone who is like, I feel her and I like the kind of content that she got, please subscribe. I don't got no followers. I ain't got no comments. Hook a girl up. I'm at the beginning stages, but I'm trying to drop some gems on y'all. Let me know what you want to hear from me and talk about, and I would love to discuss it. And I hope this video was helpful. Please subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell so that way you guys can see when I upload my next videos. And I look forward to making more videos for you guys. And I will see you guys next time.